In today's tutorial, let's work on this Houndstooth bright hat together. This is available in sizes from 6 years old to 10 years and for women and men. Let's begin to do this pattern. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on this Houndstooth hat. This is the child size version. I've already filmed the tutorial, but this is what it looks like at the very end of this tutorial, and it turned out really quite interesting. It's not a hard thing. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. It's just easy to maintain. You don't end up with any kind of weirdness going on in this project, but quite easy. So without further ado, let's dive a little more into this tutorial and I'll show you how to make one of these hats. Today we're going to work on the Houndstooth bright hat together. The Houndstooth is a type of crochet stitch that you're seeing going on here, and it reminds me of the side of a taxi cab in New York City. The sizes available is from 6 to 10 years old in women and men, and you'll notice that they're different colors. And what we can see here is that it's telling you that it's one ball for the color for black, and one ball for the color for white, and one color for iris that you're seeing going on here. Now the reason for the color changes is that you're going to see in the instructions that there's difference of colors, and this is going to indicate to you what size that you need to do. So for example, it says work in the back loops until the project measures, and then you see a difference of the colors. And so for the child size, it is, see, it's kind of like red, and then for the women's size it's in orange, and then the green size is in men. So every time there's a difference of instruction for the different sizes, then you just got to pay attention to that here in the instructions. So without further ado, we're going to get started on this project. You're going to need two different crochet hooks today, a 4mm size G and a 5mm size H, and there's a difference of the pattern, and we're going to be starting off with the brim, and the brim is relatively easy. In today's tutorial, I am going to be demonstrating the child size to 6 to 10 years old. You just have to substitute the instructions if you're doing the women's or the men's sizes, and it's just a matter of changing whatever you're doing at that particular point. So just look at the instructions and I will indicate to you when there is a difference. So the first up that we need to do is that we need to make a brim, and I've already done this in advance last night, and this brim is for the child size version and it's 18 inches long. So for the women's sizes it's going to be 19 inches, and for the men's it's 20. And so you're just going to lay it out, let it relax, and take your measurement. So you don't want to stretch it and take that measurement. You just want to have it relaxed, because when you're wearing it, it will stretch slightly. This one is a really easy brim. It's made up of single crochets on the back loop, creating the ribbing effect that you see that the person would have around the forehead. Let me show you how to make one of these. For the brim itself, the ribbing, you'll need the smaller hook of the two, and it's a 4mm size G, and then you're just going to use your yarn. So let's begin, and we're going to start off with the slip knot. And it doesn't matter which size that you're doing, the ribbing is the same height on all three hats, all three sizes. So we're going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're going to go back on this. This is not going to be the entire thing. See how it changes? Okay, so it's going to compress itself, so don't worry about it. If you think it's too long, it will compress. Second chain from the hook, go in the back hump of the stitch, the back loop of the stitch, and just single crochet that one plus all of the remainder chains. Once you get the first back hump, the chain stays turned over, and you're just going to go into each one going all the way across. You're going to come to the other side, and then I'm going to show you how to do the back loops, and so that you can get the ribbing effect then for the remainder of the length of your ribbing. So I'm coming up all the way to the end already. It's just going to be very quick. These brims are very quick to make. They are just single crochets, so therefore they expand a lot faster than the slip stitching kinds of brims. So we're just going to turn our work. We're going to chain one first. Now if you're new to crochet, you'll note may not know that there's two strings that make up a stitch. The first string closest to you is called the front loop, and the second string that is furthest from you is the back loop. So every time you turn, and every time now all the way for this, you're going to chain one and come into the back loop of the first stitch and single crochet, and this will create that ribbing look. So you're just going to work your way down it and just go into the back loop only. It's just one strand, and you're gonna find this is gonna just speed along quite nicely. So it did tell you to make a smaller size crochet hook versus the other hat. The reason why they want it is they want the brim to be a little more compact when you're wearing it, so it doesn't expand and open up the stitches so you don't freeze. So you're gonna go all the way to the end. There's only gonna be a total of 9 stitches, so if you ever think that you're screwing up at any point, you can count 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so when you're done that one, just turn it, chain 1 and turn, and go into the back loop again all the way across. And so you're going to make your ribbing. Okay, so if you're the child size, it's going to be 18 inches as I've already shown you, and if it's the women's, it's 19 inches, and the men is 20 inches. So you're just going to keep going back and forth, going single crochets on the back loops, and you're going to go all the way to the end. And do not fasten off at that time. I'm going to show you how to be able to move on to the next part of this hat. So I have my 18 inches already done, and you can see this is the starting point. So this time in this row I want to chain 1, and I want to go into the back loop, but this time I want to get the other one, and I want to insert into the stitch on the other side to keep this and make this into a complete tube. Okay, so we're just gonna slip our single crochet. So I'm gonna go into the back loop of the first one, and I'm gonna go into the complete stitch of the second. And so I'm gonna do that all the way across, and what this is going to do is going to join it so that the brim is one complete round unit. Like so. So that's not hard, right? I want to make sure I get to the back loop on the one side. You want to be consistent. That's all you have to do with this whole thing, is just be consistent. Even if you think you're doing it wrong, if you're consistent, nobody would really know if it's wrong if it's all looking consistent. So I'm gonna come up all the way, and now we're ready for the next part of this tutorial. So what I can do now is that I can see that I got a nice lip here. So what I'm just gonna do is that I'm gonna keep this to my outside. See how it's kind of expanded and you have a ridge here? You want to keep that on the underside, and now just turn it. Okay, and now we're ready for the next part of this tutorial. So now what we're going to do is that we need to put a stitch marker right where we are right here. So just get a spare piece of yarn that you can identify, and I'm just gonna grab another piece of yarn that's in my trash bin here, and I'm just gonna put it, I think it's gonna be very obvious for me. I'm an experienced crocheter, but if you're not, just put a stitch marker in. The houndstooth does not work in a complete round and round and round like a normal hat. We have to go in rows of back and forth. So it's telling you to put a stitch marker in there. Now for the child size version, what we have to do is that we have to instantly just start, and we just have to put single crochets in just around. So you just have to go onto the edge, and what I would recommend at this point is that when you go in, don't just grab one strand, make sure you get at least 2 strands. It'll be a better join for when you do that. And for the child size version, you need to fit in 62 single crochets all the way around, and for the women's it's 68, and for the men's it's 74. So I'm going to count this, and if I'm wrong, then I just have to pull out a little bit and kind of just kind of make it all fit, and then the next round then we start working on the houndstooth area, and that will bring everything back in balance. So fit in equally 62 single crochets if you're doing the child size version, 68 for the women's, and 74 for the men, and please do that now. Now that I'm all the way back around, I have my 62 in. I want to join it to the beginning single crochet that I started with, and then that finishes that particular level there. So what I want to do is just pull up this and get rid of this hook and switch over to my 5mm size H now for the remainder of the pattern, and insert this hook instead. And we're going to turn our work and then begin round number 1. So it's not like one of those patterns that we keep going around in this round and around. We have to turn every time we get back to the spot here. Let's begin round number 1. To start round number 1, we're going to simply chain up 1, and we're going to place 1 single crochet into that same stitch. Okay, and now the next one, here's the repeat pattern. It's so hard. Not really. The first one is going to be a double crochet, and then the next one will be a single crochet. That's all it is for this whole one. Okay, so the next one is a double crochet, and the next one is a single crochet. Please continue that same patterning going all the way around. That's pretty hard, right? Nah, you can do it. So 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around. Now it says in the instructions that the last stitch should be 1 double crochet. If it's not going to be and you think it's supposed to be a single crochet, throw in a single crochet just to make it in balance, and then throw in an additional double crochet there. And this pattern is working in sets of 2, so at this particular point, so you want it to stay in balance at this point. Once you have your last double crochet in there, just join it to the first single crochet that you started with right there, like so. And we're going to change our color then and move up, and I'm going to be keeping my colors like the solid blue here, the steel blue, and then I'm just going to throw in some accenting white in order to continue the houndstooth patterning, just like so. So now that I have it turned around and I'm ready to go back, so it was here, now I'm turned around. Here's the wonderful thing about this pattern. I want you to pull up a loop and let it fall out of the way and put this yarn strand out of the way, and then at the same one where you've done the slip stitching, I want you to grab your next yarn. In round number 2 I'm going to join it to the top of the first double crochet. So we're just gonna take both strands and just go over top, and we're gonna carry this white throughout the project as well. So we're just kind of getting everything ready, and we're introducing the color for the first time. So I'm gonna join it, and I want to do a single crochet first. So it's chain 1, single crochet into this same double crochet. So what we're going to do on this particular round is that we're going to do the opposite. So this one here is a single crochet. I just put in a single crochet. So we're going to go single crochet, double crochet. Okay, the next one is a single crochet, and the next one is a double. So what we're doing here on this particular round is that we're kind of putting in the opposite to what is already here underneath, and by doing so it's going to create the effect that we want. So just single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way around. I'm still maintaining the pattern. This next one is double and single. So in my brain I've been going double, single, all the way around. So it's really quite easy to maintain, and I want to go all the way to the beginning. Okay, so there's going to be a double here. Okay, and once I get here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to join it to the top of the beginning, so right where the white is here. And what we're going to do is pull up on the white, and we're going to turn our project now, and we're going to introduce the blue back in for the next round. So let's continue to round number 3. So let me introduce the blue back in. So I'm just going to put my hook around the loop, and I'm going to pull the loop tight again, and what I want to do is that I want to let the white fall out of the way, and I want to join it to the top. So I'm just going to put it to the top of the first stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to join it in, and now I want to continue this pattern like we had. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet into the first one, and then we're going to double crochet into the next. So this whole round for number 3 is again what you already know, is just single double all the way around. This is the repeat pattern for this whole thing, for this particular body, and we need to measure a certain amount. So let me get this round done for you, and then we'll cover the instructions, because you're gonna have to continue the same patterning of switching these 2 yarns back and forth in order to create the houndstooth look that is happening, and you should start to see it start to come out on the top as well. So in round 3 I'm coming all the way back to the start, and I'm going to be switching back to white. So this whole houndstooth area here has to be a certain height before we can move on to the rest of the hat. So we're gonna have to do that first before we can move along in this tutorial, and all it is a repeat of these of the patterning that you see. So once you get all the way back to the start, you're going to join to slip stitch to the first single crochet that you started with, pull a loop, and let's get our white ready again to move up. So what we're going to do then in this particular section here is that we have to just repeat exactly. So we pull up a loop, chain 1, 1 single crochet into the first, 1 double single, and I need you to get this houndstooth area to a certain height. So if you're doing the child size version, it will be 3 inches. So you just add 3 inches there. Women's is 3 and men's is 4. So you just take your tape measure and just do the same section until this band here all measures the same that it's asking for in the pattern. So it's either 3, 3, or 4. So continue to do that, and when we come back then we'll start doing the upper part of this hat. Just before I ask you to move on, just hopefully you didn't click off, I'm going to pull out this last slip stitch. Do you see how the yarn is on the outside? I want to carry the yarn so it appears on the inside. So whenever we go to do a slip stitch, make sure that this yarn that you're about to start in the next one is on the inside of the hat. Therefore you won't see it carrying up on the outside of the hat. So that's just something I just noticed. So I'm gonna pull this loop up first and then grab the white to move up to the next round. Okay, so it just makes it easier for you to be able to follow. So make sure you turn your work first and then begin the next round. Okay. So I'm back, and just a few moments ago I left you here. It only took me, I would think, about 20 minutes to get this far. It didn't take very long. This is 3 inches here, and now I am ready for the next part. Now the next part, according to the instructions, is that we change the color, and you will notice in the pattern that it had a different color top. That's up to you. I'm gonna carry across the blue anyway for myself, but what I want to do before I do anything is that I want to finish off the white. So I'm just going to just take my time, and I'm gonna worry about that afterwards. So I'm just going to pull up the loop here of the white that I just finished, and I'm just going to kind of just pull it through the loop just to secure it, and I'm going to use a darning needle at the end just to kind of secure it into position at this point. So now what I want to do is that I want to move up. So it says to break this color too and to change it to a different color. I'm going to keep it the same. I want a blue. Keep it really kind of masculine, and it's just a personal preference, but if you want to change it to a third color, that's completely up to you. So let's move along and let's continue for round number 1 of the top part of the hat. So let's continue, and I'm going to chain 1 according to the instructions in the first round of the body, and it says does not count as a half double crochet in, here and throughout. So I'm gonna do the first one, just wrap the hook going in and half double crochet. So we have to do 5 in a row. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then according to the instructions it says to half double crochet 2 together. So we're gonna put 2 together in the next one. So what we have to do is just wrap going into the next one, pull through, wrap going into the next one after that, pull through. You have 5 loops on your hook, wrap and pull through all 5, and that just made 2 stitches into 1. So the repeat pattern on this one is 5 half double crochets in a row if you're doing the kid size. The adult size is 3 for the women and 1 into the next. Okay, so it really varies on this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the next 2 are together. So wrap in, pull through, wrap in to the next one after that, pull through. You have 5, pull through all 5, and then begin again. So 5 half double crochets in a row, and then the next one will be 2 together. Continue to do that all the way around. So I'm coming up all the way back around. The final 2 stitches are going to be half double crochet 2 together. Okay, and then I know, so I'm just going to join that to the very first half double crochet. Remember that chaining of 2 never counts as anything. So this time we're gonna continue to go in the same directions like a regular hat at this point, and let's move on to round number 2, 3, and 4. They're all the same for those rounds. Okay, rounds 2, 3, and 4 for all sizes are the same. We're going to chain 2, does not count as a half double crochet. We're going to half double crochet into the first one, and we're going to half double crochet into each of the stitches all the way around. So we're not subtracting or anything on this particular round, and nor are you going to be subtracting on anything on round 3 and 4. So please do all 3 of these rounds. So this is rounds 2, 3, and 4 with just 1 half double crochet into each of the stitches all the way around. And I'll meet you back here and we'll start round number 5 together. So we have to start off number 5 right. So we have to chain 2, so which I've already done. And for the child size it says that we have to half double crochet in the next 2. So I'm gonna just do this one. If you were the women's size, according to this, you would have to half double crochet in the next 2, which I just did, and then the men's size, it's half double crochet in the next 5. So here comes the repeat pattern for this whole thing, for this round. So we're gonna do half double crochet 2 together in the next 2, bring those 2 together just like that, and it says 1 half double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches if you're doing it in the child size, and the other one, women's, would be the next 3. Okay, 1 half double crochet in the next 3, and for the men's size it's 1 half double crochet in the next 9, and repeat from the asterisk, which is 2 together again. So this is the child size version. You may want to look at the instructions for the size that you're working on to clarify for yourself. So for the child size it's 4 half double crochets in a row, 2, 3 and 4, and the women's size was only 3 of those, and the men's size was 9, and then it's 2 together. Okay, so the child size version is 4 half double crochets, and we're going to continue this all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of this revolution where I'll show you how to finish this revolution, because that's where the rest of the instructions come into play on that round. So coming up all the way around, I'm almost out of stitches, and we had to continue that same patterning going all the way around. And what we're going to do then with this one is that the last 2 are going to be 2 together. Just refer to the instructions for the other sizes that you have available to you. So just refer to the link, and it'll tell you how many stitches that you have left. Just for clarification, for the women's size there would have been 1 stitch, and for the men's size there would have been 4, and we still have to join with the slip stitch. So just look at that, and let's continue to round number 6. Round number 6 we're gonna do some more decreasing. We're gonna chain up 2 for the our baby or child size, and then what do we have here is that 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3. So for the child size it is half double crochets in each of the next 3. For the adult women's it's 2 half double crochets, and for the men's it's 4, and we're going to then continue the repeat pattern. So we're going to do half double crochet 2 together for this. Okay, so for the child size again, just to reiterate that, it's 1 half double crochet in the next 3. For the women's it's 2, and for the men's it's 4. Okay, and then you do the half double crochet then. So continue that same repeat all the way around. I'm continuing the pattern all the way around, and I just have to then I have to make sure I get my 2 together as my last one in order to keep the pattern in balance. Like so, and then just join it to the beginning half double crochet that we started with. So let's begin, and we are going to then move up to the 7th round next. 7th round we're really gonna decrease drastically on this one for the child size and the women's. Men's is just a little bit longer. So we're gonna chain 2. It says half double crochet into the stitch, into the next stitch, and that's only 1, and then we're going to put in half double crochet 2 together in the next. Okay, so the next one is 2 together. So for the child size it's only 1. For the women's it was only 1, and for the men's it was 3 half double crochets. So the next one is half double crochet, and then the next one is 2 together. Continue that same pattern going all the way around. So I'm continuing all the way around. The last one is half double crochet 2 together, and I just join it to the top of the beginning half double crochet. So let's move on, and we're gonna move on to round number 8, and you can see that the hole is really starting to close in now. So let's begin round number 8. So round number 8 takes a turn, and in the women's size, only for round number 8 and only in the women's size, you're going to chain 2 and 1 half double crochet around each of the stitches. Okay, and then you join to the top. But we're working on the child size right now, and so for the child size what we're going to do is chain 2, and then we're going to half double crochet each single half double crochet 2 together for each one of the stitches going all the way around. So every 2 is now going to become 1. Now for the men's size, if you're working on that one, there's still a lot of instructions left. You have rounds 9 and 10 going all the way down. This particular round that I'm working on for the kids is now actually finished. I have to do a drawstring and do it. So the men's section still has 9 and 10 left, and you can see the instructions on what you need to do, and it's just a matter of a few more rounds in order to make it work. So for the kids size it's half double crochet 2 together all the way around, and then we're gonna leave a long string and then draw it closed with a darning needle. When you get all the way back around, the last ones are half double crochet 2 together, and we're just going to pull it through and join to the beginning. So what I want to do is that I want to leave an extra long string here, and I want to cut it, and I want to pull my yarn through that loop like so. And I'm gonna grab a darning needle next, and what I want to do is that there's still a small hole there, so what we want to do is draw this string through that whole section. So let's begin with the slip. So let's begin with the darning needle. Let's begin with the darning needle to do that. So we're just gonna insert the yarn onto the needle, and I just want to follow this path around the top into the stitch work, and I'm not gonna pull all the string through. I'm just gonna get some of it through, continue it to go all the way around, and what we're gonna do is kind of like clothesline it closed at the top. Now we have there's a pom-pom that's required. If you would like to do that, it's up to you, it's your creativity. We do have a separate tutorial on how to make homemade pom-poms, or if you'd like to buy a ready-made one, they are available on yarnspirations.com as well. So now that I've got it all the way around, just pull the string and that will pull that section closed at the top. And what I like to do is just kind of run it across diagonally over the top of the hole, and I like to go in the opposite direction across the other way. And you can do that a few times if it makes you feel more secure. And then I'm just gonna tie it a little bit into a, just feed it through knot, and what I'm gonna do is stick it down through the project, and I'm going to turn this inside out next. So let me turn it inside out and bring it through. Okay, and what I want to do is just feed it through some fibers here and kind of tie it and secure it into position. You don't want it to pop out on you. Okay, so now that it's tied, I'm just gonna run it through some more fibers underneath, and I can safely trim this yarn now, so I don't have to worry about it falling off. And what I need to do is then I need to go back to where I had the white. Remember, I kind of just left it there at that section. So in the white on the inside of the hat, I am going to just put my darning needle in, and all I'm just gonna do is just run it through some sections on the inside of the hat. Don't let this needle hit the outside, and I'm just running it through a few times under some fibers. If you run it through 3 times, it's going to lock itself into position, but if you feel like you need to put a tie on it or anything like that, then that's up to you. Okay, so that's done. And the other string that's hanging out here, the white that is underneath, I secured that as I went. I can pull out my stitch thing. We have our starting string, so let's put that hook or needle back in, and all I just want to do is secure it in some fibers. Okay, and I'm just gonna go on the inside of the hat. Where's the inside? It's on this side. Just gonna go on the inside, just run it through some fibers. It's already kind of locked into position to where it's sitting anyway. I just want to be a little bit gentle about it. Hat I did yesterday in tutorial, I kind of pulled it too tight, and you could really clearly see that I did that. Okay, so I'm running it through 3 different directions, and then I can safely trim that as well. So this would be concluding my hat. So if I wanted to do a pom-pom, I could, and if you don't want to, that's completely up to you. But this is the Houndstooth hat. This is the child size version. Looks really kind of cool. Great stitch work, and in the pattern it asks us to do the top a different color. You know what, it's up to you, it's creativity. What's interesting though is that this color in the middle looks different from that, even though it's the same. In my opinion, it looks more purple than this one does, even though it's supposed to be a blue. So that's it for now, and until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Enjoy this free pattern, and hopefully you learned something today. Until next time, I'm Mikey, and have a great day. Bye bye.